Penrith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to speak in favour of the Universities Legislation Amendment Bill 2024. There are public university campuses all over New South Wales, including Western Sydney University in my electorate of Penrith. They provide a life-changing opportunity to so many and also add vibrancy and create jobs in our communities. They provide a highly skilled workforce to support our community, and indeed WSU are one of the largest employers in our area. Universities overall are a crucial part of our civil society. Western Sydney University is possibly the most significant single institution in Greater Western Sydney, an area that is a driving economic force for the whole of Australia. WSU is an institution I have great familiarity with, as it is my alma mater, and I know they are champions for Western Sydney in so many ways. Like myself, a high proportion of Western Sydney students are the first in their family to attend university. They may also have ethnic and cultural backgrounds which span the planet. I know that WSU are particularly proud of these facts. WSU has around 45,000 students across 13 campuses and students from 170 different countries. WSU also has a close engagement with TAFE New South Wales, and I acknowledge the Minister is in the chamber today. They also have a very close relationship with local schools. It rightly prides itself on fostering the confidence and ambition of our local students. Speaker, this bill makes small but important amendments to the 10 New South Wales Public University Acts, including the Western Sydney University Act. It is our role as government to ensure legislation is up to date and that it serves its purpose. It is important that we continue to modernise and improve the University Acts when needed. The 10 public universities require ministerial approval if they want to sell or long-term lease land that was obtained from the state of New South Wales for nominal or less than market value. This is an important safeguard on assets gifted to universities by the New South Wales Government for the purposes of higher education. However, for certain transactions, this can cause an unnecessary regulatory burden. The requirement for approval captures routine land dealings by universities around utilities infrastructure. For example, granting easements and leases for electricity transformers, overhead power lines and substation kiosks. Universities should be permitted to enter such relatively minor arrangements for utilities infrastructure and related services without ministerial approval. These amendments will remove the requirement for ministerial approval for some routine university land dealings, like easements and leases up to 99 years for utilities infrastructure. Currently, universities can only enter into leases for up to 21 years without approval, and the change to 99 years for leases concerning utilities infrastructure will smooth that process for this type of transaction. The important existing requirement for universities to gain ministerial approval for the sale of land or long-term lease of relevant land for other purposes will remain unchanged. These amendments maintain an appropriate balance of operational oversight of the lands and infrastructure occupied by public universities. Some of the other changes to the Acts, which are the same across the 10 University Acts, are to modernise the language used. Upgrading the language will mean the legislation is more easily understood and accessible to the general public, including those from different language backgrounds. A very specific part of the amendments is to allow Vice-Chancellors at 5 universities to sub-delegate functions. These particular changes will mean the respective Vice-Chancellors can sub-delegate functions delegated to them by their university governing body, but only where the delegation by the governing body includes the authority to sub-delegate. Accordingly, This is not a general subdelegation power. This provision already exists in the Acts of the other 5 public universities. It is proposed to add it to the Acts of Charles Sturt University, University of New South Wales, the University of New England, University of Sydney and Southern Cross University, bringing them all into line. Examples of subdelegated powers include approving particular commercial or financial transactions and authority to approve specific human resources functions. This will reduce administrative burden for both governing bodies and university administrations. The third section of the bill removes outdated, irrelevant requirements on residential college leases. This bill removes a provision that requires leases to a residential college affiliated with a university to be at nominal rent and containing a term that the lease not be assigned. This requirement creates unnecessary confusion for universities in understanding their land responsibilities around residential colleges, with the majority of universities not having any colleges that fit this description. I understand that an amendment will be moved that will remove this provision for 8 of the 10 universities rather than all 10, as appropriate for individual universities' current circumstances. This bill provides for measured and appropriate changes to the 10 New South Wales Public University Acts. The changes largely preserve the important checks and balances on university land transactions already built into those acts. The amendments make small modifications to modernise, clarify and update the public university legislation. I therefore commend this bill to the House.
Speaker.